Welcome to the Underground, my little underground with Peter A.
It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. This week on the show, Homeboy Sandman, Queen's Bred MC, returns to the show to discuss his brand new album, Rich 2, chemistry with producers like Mono and Stereo, who produced the entire album, Manifesting Love. He's got a brand new mixtape coming out. You're going to have to listen to the show to get some details on that. We also talked about plans for his label, Dirty Looks, and so much more. Please welcome back to My Little Underground, Homeboy Sandman.
My little underground.
Homeboy Sandman, welcome back to My Little Underground. So good to have you.
No
Big
question.
congrats on Rich 2.
Good looking out, fam.
I Can't Sell These Either mixtape. So your release show at Nubaloo, man, that was a crazy crowd. It was you filled the room, and you're not even on socials and nothing like that. That's kind of a victory for you, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very grateful. I do think that I have I put in a rhyme the other day. I got the most sophisticated rap fans alive. I can't remember what the line before it was, but I mean, I think passionate. Myself, I'm a passionate, music fan and grew up a passionate music fan. So I'm grateful that people take, many people take whatever opportunity they can to come out and celebrate, and whatever opportunity they can to, come out and support, even though, because I'll be promoting, I send my texts out, I throw it up on the Patreon, my boy DeCane Marco shouts it out on DJ Eclipse's show. Like, I use everything that I feel comfortable to using to spread the word, you know what I mean? But yeah, but I am very grateful. It is very meaningful to me that we're able to, generate to get the word around through the channels we like.
Exactly, yeah. And
Yeah.
what's interesting is your great track, Banned in the USA, that you opened with, or maybe it was like the second or third song you did,
Mm.
and you noted about your fan conversion rate. It's about 82%, and your playlist reach is about 1.2 million. Do these metrics mean anything to you? And if so, like, what kind of story do they tell about you and your artistry?
Well, what that whole thing was designed, that artwork that put up that metric, and put up the metrics of some other artists. There's a line in a song. I forget I gotta say the whole song in my head to remember a part, but it goes which is the reason advertising works for you. It's so ill to not put people on, not because they think that with the beat I need. This is crazy. I can't. It's so ill to not put people on, not because they think that they won't like it. They're just certain that they will. Why? Expose the world to music that is proven fewer people going to like. The numbers don't lie. That's what it
Yep.
was. Because me and Darian, who was there too, he's my manager. Like, we what that thing was all about was conversion rate, basically, and just
Yep.
showing, it doesn't make any sense. Every other name on there was very much a household name. You know what I mean? But if you look at and I tried to put as much as I could, that was exposure of new people. So it wasn't fans. It wasn't like my fans supported me. It was the amount of new people that want to hear more of me. So they never heard me before. That's what that metric was. We found it on a thing called chart metric. And there's other, you could look at Odyssey had that day, that was for one day, and that's on it too. Odyssey had a 91% conversion rate that day. Aesop's got a great rappers have great conversion rates. So it isn't about so it makes people question, why my playlisting, why my exposure was extraordinarily, exorbitantly lower than everyone else on that list if my conversion rate was notably higher. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to popularize what people like less unless there's a different agenda. You know what I mean? So that's what the song is about. That's what the art was about.
Yeah, yeah. And what's crazy about you yourself as an artist, when I was in LA last year, I was in an Uber and the driver was like, "Oh, so what are you listening to now?" "Oh, I'm listening to Homeboy Sandman and anything else." He's like, "What? I saw him play with Brother Ali like 10 years ago, and this is on the other side of the country."
Remember
Isn't
that.
that's insane how much
That's
your reach
amazing.
is. You know what I
That's
mean?
God, yo. Yeah, that's God.
That's it's unbelievable. And speaking of mixtapes, you announced that your show that you're working on another mixtape in the vein of I can't sell these, I can't sell these either. What was the title that you said?
Well, the new one is gonna be called Nor Can These Be Sold, at least by me.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and this is just a thing that was kind of born on it. It was, and it really started. My boy Mono and Stereo. I'm not. I say his name two times each time because he liked to say it differently. But who produced Rich 2 and Rich 1? He sends me so many beats, and we have so many jams. And I would always be like, oh, I like this part, like let's structure it the way that I like, because sometimes he goes off on a crazy tangent. And sometimes I love the crazy tangent. Like Need a Woman ends with a beautiful, wild tangent. And there be a lot of tangential things going on. But sometimes I'm like, I love this piece and I love this piece and I love this piece. So it used to be kind of time consuming to be like, this is the section I like, this is the section I like. Can you reformat it? He send it back. So it wasn't until 2020 that I kind of learned to piece things together myself, in GarageBand. I learned to chop myself. And I was like, if I could do this with the mono joints, I could really now start to rap over whatever I want that I've been listening to. Cause I've always, I don't know how to produce. I know some amazing producers. And actually, knowing some of the producers I know has discouraged me from being like, I'm going to do production because I'm like, these guys are the real deal. I just know how to put some loops together. You know what I mean? Like, but now that I feel comfortable putting loops together, and now that I'm still not like, even Mono and Stereo works heavy with loops, but he chops like crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm still not a Mono and Stereo or nothing like that for sure. But it is a lot of fun. I got Luther Vandross joints on a new mixtape that's coming out that I've listened to since I was a kid. And I was like, Dag, I would love to rap on that. Let me take a couple of chunks and rap on that. You know what I mean? And it's great. I feel like the whole world is my oyster now. Any sound I hear, because it's artistic based. I mean, people, they could donate, but it's not, the music isn't for sale. You know what I mean? Like, I do appreciate the donations, but people could just download it. Actually, I think there's like a 50, I'm not sure. To make a long story short, I love being able to rap on anything I hear because this is, I could pull anything out of the world. So it's something that I expect to be an ongoing process, because just today I heard something. I was like, oh, I want to rap on that. The things I want to rap on, I do rap on. That's what bring me joy on a day-to-day basis. So this mixtape series of things that I can't sell because I don't have the rights to them, but I do want to use to create, is something that I see going. I have to think of all type. I can't sell these and I can't sell these either. It was easy to name the second one. Nor can these be sold, at least by me. I had to get. I don't know what the fourth one will be. Still can't sell them or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked about Luther Vandross, right? And in the series so far, you've ran the gamut of artistry from Tobacco, Angel Rada, Jay Dilla.
Love that.
It's insane. Like other than Luther Vandross, is there any other styles or artists that you would
Dude, let
want
me let
to?
me let me let me tell you, because I got the. I'll give you the sneak. Not the. Hold on, let me look, because I got the list right here because it's all recorded.
Yeah.
So what do we got? I got some Tom Caruana. I got some this brother, the cat from Canada, whose name I forget, K Tronada. Rapping
Wow.
over some K Tronada. I'm rapping over some Shirley Bassey. I'm
Okay.
rapping over some Hall and Oates. I'm rapping over some what's the name of this cat from Coleman Records who has the My God Has a Telephone? Um I forget his name, hold up, I could probably look it up. Yeah, Aaron Frazier. I'm rapping over some Aaron Frazier. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Those are just a couple, but you know, um, it's a great blend.
that's a great
I do
blend.
love Yeah, I love a wide variety of music. So there's gonna be all different types of sounds, just like with the first two mixtapes.
Great. Any timetable when it's gonna come out?
I anticipated, we trying to move fluid with it because, you know, I anticipated coming out before the year is over though,
Okay.
because it is entirely recorded. But, I want to drop so much, but I also want to give things a little bit of room we still have a Rich 2 video to shoot and release. Like we still have a couple more Rich 2 things that we want to do. But there's still plenty of time left in the year. So I look for it this year.
All right. Regarding Rich 2, right? Just came out, and this is probably your fourth project with Mono and Stereo.
You know that.
Um, when you think about his production, and even on the album, you shout him out numerous times, which is awesome.
Man.
What about his production connects with you? Is there a certain way he loops a beat or picks samples that really resonates with you?
I mean, that's a good, I've been reading this book. Where's my book? Oh, it's over there on the table. But it's about the left brain and the right brain, right? And like, allegedly the left brain has language and the right brain doesn't, but it's more intuitive. Like it's difficult for me to even put like, I could use certain words like the warmth and the soul and the feeling, maybe the emotion, maybe the time, maybe he captures he just I listen to his beats and they remind me of neighborhoods. They remind me of time periods. They remind me of moods that I've been in. You know what I mean? These are the closest that I could get to really, it's something that kind of transcends language. Language is limiting. Language is great. I kick rhymes in language, but we are kind of twin flames, and we've always been that way from the first. He put out an album called Atmananda. Babe, can you pass me my book real quick? That was his record. Thank you. This is a great book right here, everybody. It's called The Master and the Emissary. You know what I mean? My
Okay.
boy actually gave me this. But since Atmananda, which was his project, and we did a joint on there called Magician, which is funny because now the three of us, me, him, and George, Curious George, who's also a magician, you know what I mean? We build like brothers on a regular basis. So it's interesting that my first jam with him is called Magician. But ever since then, his conversion rate, talking about conversion rates, has been through the I've found more mono and stereo beats that I want to rap over than any other producer who I've ever gotten beats from or been in the studio with. Because I'm very, very picky. A lot of times I hear beats that I love, but I don't feel like rapping on. You know what I mean? And beats in general, like I could definitely hear a fly beat and be like, this is fly. Somebody's gonna make a great jam. But it's not gonna be me because it doesn't call out to me in this special way. But Mono's joints is like, we're similar age, we're both big, we're similar heights. We both grew up in New York. I'm not sure exactly what the formula is or the calculation, but he really brings great stuff out of me, and it's always been that way. You know what I mean? And I find him all throughout my career. We put out Cool Herc Fertile Crescent, we put out Dusty, we put out Rich 1 and Rich 2, but he produced The Miracle. You know what I mean? He produced Mine on Mine. He produced, like, there've been solo jams too that are some of my, favorite solo jams that were on projects that had a bunch of producers that are still him. You know what I mean? So that's my dude.
Yeah, when you think about again with language, it's hard to really with any kind of music, it's really hard to put it down in words, even though the industry does that. Oh, this is this type of music and that type of music.
Right.
But when you look at producers, right, is there any other producer that you've never worked with before? And I know you've worked with so many that you've always wanted to really connect with and that you feel like you would kind of really connect to their work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a standpoint of what I grew up listening to and who I feel are just Q-Tip and the RZA are the first two names that come to mind. The Tribe records, I mean, I would love Jazzy. The first record I knew front to back was He's a DJ, I'm the Rapper by Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So I've never done anything with Jazzy Jeff. I've never done
Yeah.
anything with Q-Tip, and I've never done anything with the RZA. Those those people are really, really the first. Those are heroic cats that come to mind. Um, there's a lot of producers, that are more contemporary. Like I just mentioned, K Tronada, because
Yeah.
took the. I would love to cook up something brand new with him. You know what I mean? Super duper gifted on the sound. You know what I mean? So though, he's one contemporary in there more, but those are the first ones that come to mind.
Q-Tip I can see because of the Queens connection. I think that because look what he did with Mobb Deep, and yeah,
And
and
he's
look what
still,
he's doing.
he's
Yeah,
doing that new LL Cool J album,
I was just gonna
and I
say,
only
yep,
heard one song, but I I think the beat is fantastic,
yeah,
and I definitely would have put it to use myself if it had fallen into my hands.
right. And look what he did with Danny Brown a couple years back.
Yes, absolutely true. And that's
Yeah,
he did, Paul White. That was like a Paul White on that record. Because what was the name of that record?
on the album,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh, all right. So I got confused then. It was another. It was another. I got my wires crossed. But
No,
yeah,
no,
the
it's all
Q-Tip
good.
joints is it.
Yeah. So Need a Woman, right? When you wrote this song, were you already in love with your now wife, or was
No,
it no? Okay.
nah. It was about 6 months before my wife and I got together. Actually, my wife and I, for we've known each other for since she was. We've known each other nearly 20 years, with 17 years, I think.
Wow.
And we've been great friends for all that time. But my records are very much kind of windows into what's going on with me. So, it's it can be traced kind of my mental and physical, and I mean my mental and emotional development. You know what I mean? I never had, a degree of self-awareness, maturity. I had to be in love in an authentic way, that I believe. You know what I mean? I had to you know, face up to some stuff about me. There's Don't Feed the Monster was a really breakthrough record from an emotional standpoint. And after you know confronting a lot of the things that I did with Don't Feed the Monster, um, which was released in 2020 and which was recorded in February of 2020. Need a Woman I wrote after that record was completed in 2020, because I start to recognize, okay, like I have a real idea now of what I want for myself, for my life, for my relationship. You know what I mean? So I would say that was around mid 2020, and later on in 2020, November, December, is when my wife and I, connected in that way.
Wow.
So I think of it as like a power manifestation joint.
Yeah. So when you were done putting the song together, was it like a aha moment right there, or was it just outside of the music is when you came to that realization that, oh, I'm in love?
Well, that yeah, it wasn't an aha moment. I believe that it was part of a process, a mental reconfiguration. So I believe the song was part of a mental reconfiguration. And then, like I said, you know, I've known my wife for, nearly 20 years, but now finally my vision is correct, that I could recognize what I've really been in the presence of for a long time. And only God could have set it up that way. I would have dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Only God was able to put the proper. I think a God is putting like the bumpers at a bowling alley. You know what I mean? God kept us in different parts of the world for a time. God put us in different situations for a time. So we never had the opportunity to mess it up. You know what I mean? Because that's what I would have done. It wasn't
Yeah.
until this mental reconfiguration has switched, and I'm seeing with more clarity, which the song was part of expressing, and that I'm like, oh snap, Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm.
When it comes to Leave Me Alone, right? This is a song I kind of resonate with as well. When you need your space or alone time, like what are certain boundaries that you set for other people to abide by so you can have that peace?
Yeah, the people that really mean a lot to me, I make sure I let them know if I don't pick up the phone or get back to you for a long time, that isn't a personal thing. You know what I mean? That's a focus thing. If we don't see each other for a long, like it isn't I'm gonna take pauses. I call it going into the monastery. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go into the monastery. So I'm not gonna be going out to events. If you have an event at that time and I don't show, it ain't because I don't love you or love what you got going on or anything like that. I don't support you. It's because I'm in the monastery. You know what I mean? And if you're shouting me out, if you have a birthday, if you have a wedding, whatever it is, it don't need to be a music show. And when you're trying to get at me and I'm not getting at you, it's not because you turn me off as a person and I don't want to talk to you. It's because I have a focus that I don't want to be distracted. You know what I mean? And I maintain I maintain a level of non-distraction that's comfortable for me. Like I don't, my days are set up, you know, I have the things I like. I like reading, I like writing, you know what I mean? I like exercise. When I want to have some passive, maybe I'll watch a movie. I watch movies pretty regularly, maybe, but I think that's but as far as like seeing what's going on online or checking, getting involved in current events, what people regard as current events like that. My current events are very localized. That what's going on with me, that what's going on with what I see, you know what I mean? Like there, I do what I can to kind of keep a leave me alone, you know, environment kind of cultivated anyway. You know what I mean? Where there's not too much kind of trying to infringe on my field already. But when I really truly have to go for that, I let people know it doesn't matter if you can't find me, and it doesn't matter if we're not hanging out. And then it's not even, I mean, I'm home, it's probably where I'm is, or I'm walking around the block. It's not like a find me issue. But when I come back out, but now it's happened and now it happens, and people that know me, and I let people know, I'm not you might send me a text that I don't get back to for a month. That doesn't mean you mean nothing to me. It just means I didn't get to it for a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, I just try to be a good communicator,
Yeah, that's very important to, at least communicate with your loved one saying, "Hey, if I don't answer you, it's nothing personal."
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
heard of Rhapsody's new album, Please Don't Cry?
I heard the jam with Felicia Rashad on the end, which is more like a spoken word joint.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I've heard, but I'm going to return to it. But that's what I've heard as of yet. But why? You rocking with it? My boy sent it to me. He says you got to rock with this.
You
And
gotta.
I'm going to get to it for sure.
The reason why is because everything you're talking about here, she has a similar themes of
Yeah.
if I don't get back to you, it's not personal. I just need to retreat. So I
Right,
think
right,
you
right.
would connect to it. It's kind of interesting how both of y'all albums came out the same year, around the same
Mhm.
time, talking about similar subjects in different ways, obviously.
I'm
But
gonna peep it. I'm going to peep it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Big shout to rap, big
yeah,
shout to Rhapsody and big shout to Cooley High. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I've been a fan of Rhapsody since she was down with Cooley High. So big shout to my boy Charlie Smarts, big shout to my boy Tab One, and big shout to Rhapsody making great art.
yeah. That I think it would be cool if y'all played a show together. That's my
It would
manifestation.
it would be. I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So when it comes to your imprint, Dirty Looks, I know you dropped Rich 2 through that. Do you have
Mhm.
any other plans for this imprint this year or and
Yeah,
beyond?
I do. I do. For one, it's having a label is a lot of, I know we haven't had the vinyl ready, but we're about to have the pre-order up for the vinyl. But really what it comes down to, I have a great team. Big shout to Darian, big shout to Art Morera, big shout to Luke Warmth, my art director, Luke Barron, big shout to Gan, big shout to Darko Engineering, big shout to the Dirty Looks infrastructure.
Yep.
Um, we're learning as we go along about distribution, physical distribution. We have a different digital distributor for Rich 2 than we have for Rich 1, even though we like Symphonic, but like NVIDIA. Big shout to big shout to everybody. We got Get On Down, formerly Traffic, doing the physical distro. these are all things to learn as far as how to maximize, because we want to maximize the reach. At Dirty Looks, we have no financial goals, zero. Okay, we want to get the music disseminated to to the best of our abilities. That's what we want to do. You know what I mean? So that's what we're looking for. So we're learning how to do that best. For me, the biggest, because I'm gonna be dropping the riches through Dirty Looks. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be doing that. But I'm at a time I have my eyes on certain artists, and I've discussed with certain artists, like I want to build an infrastructure, have a well-oiled machine that we don't have yet, but I want to establish a well-oiled machine and a momentum that will really allow me to have the label I always wished I was on. And that isn't to say I'm very grateful for the labels that I've released stuff through, for sure, without a doubt. But I've learned a lot from that, and I've there's a label in my mind that creates an environment for beautiful artists to flourish being themselves, even if their first album is completely different from their second album, and their second album is completely different from their third, and lets every single artist on the label know that they are the top priority artist. Every single artist is a top priority artist. That's what we're gonna do. It's paradoxical, but it's right brain. You know what I mean? Paradox. We love it.
Yeah.
But and different things like that. And a wide variety of true artists. We don't want to have. So looking for the right time to start to do that, and looking forward to the right time to start to do that is the next thing that's really exciting me about Dirty Looks, and I don't know if it's that. I don't anticipate being this year, but maybe next year.
All right, San. I appreciate you so much for all the Dirty Looks updates and the mixtape updates and the more possible rich updates. Let everybody know where they can reach you. I know you're not on socials anymore, but you do have a great email newsletter. So
I got it. Yeah. My email, if you go to homeboysandman.com, actually that'll redirect you to Patreon, which I'm on Patreon, and we have a lot of fun there, patreon.com/homeboysandman. But the newsletter, my email is homeboysandman@gmail.com, and you could just say add me to the newsletter, and it goes out. I got one going out soon. My boy Double AB was at the show the other day. We just did a joint. I got a joint with Sleep Sinatra that just came out. So I keep people up on features that I'm up on, new drops, all types of stuff, but definitely all the new releases and everything like that. So yeah, email me at homeboysandman@gmail.com and say, yo, put me on a email blast, and I'll throw you on there.
that's how I signed up.
Yeah, well, that.
All right. Thank you so much, San. You take care.
My pleasure, man. Be good. Keep up the great work.
All right. Thank you.
My little underground.